Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back for another episode of Sip of Tea. By the time this is broadcasted, it will be Friday, November 27th. It will be the day after Thanksgiving. It will be Black Friday, and it is the day before Small Business Saturday. Please remember the whole purpose of introducing you to these amazing business owners this week has been so that you can go out and support a small business owner tomorrow, November 28th. I am here today with one of my very good friends, my nestie, my lestie. We met at a networking event and we clicked. We are all over each other's LinkedIn. This is Tracey Pirozzi. And just like all of our other speakers, I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. So, hello, Tracey.
Hello, Tiffany.
I love it. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your company.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for having this.
I'm so glad.
It's so important to highlight small businesses and to let the world know that small business, especially service-oriented small businesses, do exist and that we're part of the small business community as well. So thank you for highlighting it and having this movement. I'm so excited to be part of it.
I am so glad to have thought of it and started it and brought people on board that were actually interested in it. So,
yes, super, super excited as well. Yeah. So I am Tracey Pirozzi, and I am the CEO, founder, and lead facilitator of Pirozzi Organization Development Solutions. And what I do is I partner with companies to help them find their hidden money leaks. And what that really means, the way that I do that is by helping them with team building and getting their teams to work better and more efficiently with each other. That's number one. Second thing is I do help them with professional development. So individual leadership development, I help with that too. I also help with culture transformation, and I am a facilitator, speaker. I can present my own content, and I can also have companies give me an idea of what content they would like to present on, and I'd be more than happy to create a presentation for them to do that.
I love it. Tracey, you do some very important work. So it sounds like you work within a lot of corporate spaces. Is that correct?
I do. Okay. And that's my ideal client, is a corporate space. The larger the organization, the more I can help, because I would be helpful to different departments.
Okay.
And then ultimately get the entire organization to communicate and work more effectively.
I love it.
Yeah, however, I can do individual services as well for, again, professional development, leadership development. So it can be a one-on-one also.
Awesome. Awesome. So I love one of the things that you said here. You said culture transformation. Mm-hmm. And if anything has changed the culture of where we work, it is COVID-19. Yeah. So how has that changed how you help your customers, as far as like, are you giving different information now? Is there a different way to change that culture? Like, what does that look like with so many businesses going virtual now? What does that culture transformation look like?
Yeah. So culture transformation honestly takes between 2 to 3 years to actually happen. So it's not like you can come in and flip a switch and automatically culture change. However, you're right, it did change now with COVID, of course. And so certain things are happening, as we all are doing right now. Everything's on Zoom or a virtual platform of some kind. And so it's important to get people engaged no matter where they are. And so that's something that I really work with, is to try to have these virtual meetings where everyone needs to participate. And it's very important that that happens. And I'll give you a crazy example. One of my current clients, originally, I was going to come in and do some culture change, help with that. And we were going to be doing in-person meetings. So I was going to be going to one particular location in Indiana, one particular location in Texas. And what happened with that is that, because then COVID hit, so Then we decided to do it all virtually. And what really happened, which was interesting and a benefit of it, was that everybody met together virtually. So that would not have happened if we did the original way we were going to do it. So now the team is working even better because they have a better connection with each other. They might not have even worked together with each other. And by doing that culture meeting, that we have a monthly meeting, and just sharing ideas and giving feedback on what the company is doing to better the culture, the group has really become very cohesive, and they even seek each other out without having those meetings.
Wow, that's awesome. I know that I'm more likely to be engaged if in the Zoom meeting, there's a question and answer box. There's the raise hand option so that I can ask questions. There are polls that come up, things like that. So I know that those are tools that you're incorporating into your presentations as well. Let's talk a little bit about some of your one-on-one coaching services, because at this time, that's probably one of those things that a lot of people are interested in. A lot of people are trying to grow their businesses or start their businesses, and that one-on-one personal training and leadership and development is very important. So with that being said, what areas of that development are you able to do one-on-one coaching in?
Sure. So it really depends on the individual and what their needs are. You can't just walk in and go, oh, you need help with this, without doing any kind of some kind of an assessment. So all of my services actually start with an assessment, and it's called the team management profile. Okay. And I use a third party vendor for that. And the name of the company is TMS. And what happens is, with that assessment, it gives you the results of your work preferences. And once you figure out how you prefer to work, then you can understand yourself, but more importantly, you can then understand and appreciate other people's different preferences. So as we've talked about in the past, and I use this a lot for an example because it's a personal example. I used to, when I was in corporate America, I would walk down the hallway in the morning, go get my cup of tea in the morning, and between my office and the kitchen, there were a lot of offices, and I would walk through and knock on everybody's door and say, good morning, how are you? Did you get my email? I'll see you later, all this stuff. And most people would say, good morning, Trace, how are you? That's yes, okay, fine, see you later. And other people would look at me like I was very nasty and rude. And I used to think that they were rude, right? And so the next morning, because I need to be in control of everything, the next morning, I would go, okay, they didn't say good morning to me yesterday, so I'm going to say good morning louder today because they didn't apparently hear me. So and I would do the same thing, and I would say good morning. And so then they would finally say good morning just to shoo me away. But what I now know, after reading the results of the assessment that I've taken for myself, I now know that there are some people that don't mind that hop in, if you will, but other people, when they're working at their desk, they do not, just because their door is open doesn't mean that they don't want to be disturbed, or that the pop in is okay. So they're trying to focus, and the minute that I stop them, they break that train of thought, and then they have to regroup all over again, and it gets them a little bit of time, takes them a little bit of time to get focused again. So what I learned is, by this assessment, that I was the rude one. And so it was very enlightening for me. So I know I'm outgoing and I know I'm extroverted, and that's fine, but I have to, again, appreciate that not everybody thinks or prefers to work the way that I do. Yeah. So it's very eye-opening. And what's interesting too is that it's very personal. So I will always remember that. So if I'm ever walking down another hallway again, before I lift my hand, I'll go, maybe they don't want to be interrupted. I'll just walk right by. So so I start with that to answer your question. And then we find out what the challenges are that individual person has been having. And then we can work with that. This assessment also tells you what role you should be in, your preferred role within a team. So keep in mind too, that even if you're a solopreneur, you do work with teams. right? If you have a virtual assistant like yourself, if you have someone else that, a vendor maybe that you're using, like I'm using my vendor for my assessment, those are part of the team, even though I'm a solopreneur. So it's just something to keep in mind.
It's one of those things that's super, super important because no business grows on its own.
Right.
Every business has a team. You may be the only owner and you may never have other people who do exactly what you do within your business, which is what typically makes someone a solopreneur. But you are going to need a team at some point. You're going to need an assistant. You're going to need vendors. You're going to need tech people. You're going to need a team if you want your business to grow. So from what I'm hearing about, the exam and your process and everything like that, it sounds like this one-on-one development, while I'm sure it's welcome at any time, it's actually probably ideal for the business owner who's ready to start growing a team so that they can learn how to recognize these things in other people, and they can learn how to shape their team efficiently. Am I correct?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. That's 100% correct. Yes.
Awesome. I love it. I think that as business owners, sometimes we let the scarcity mentality stop us from getting what we really need. And I think that I honestly believe like the first two people that you should invest in as a business owner is an assistant and a coach, period. Those are the first two people that you should invest in, because your assistant is going to free up your time for your high value tasks, and your coach is going to help you shape and form what you want your business to really be. So I am a firm believer that the first two things that you should invest your money in is your assistant and your coach. And that's aside from like your tech stack and all that good stuff like that you have to keep your business running. But the first two people that you invest in, and small businesses are perfect for that. Now, all this week, we've been talking about how it's the small business dollar that actually stimulates our economy. It's not the big businesses. We were given a great example by another business owner about how even a big business seeks out little businesses. He worked for a wireless company, and his account was small businesses, 250 employees or less, to try to go to these companies and get them to get cell phones for their business. So even as a large business, it's the small businesses that actually stimulate our economy and keep us driving forward. With that being said, Tracey, what does the small business, when someone invests in themselves by purchasing your services, what does that do for you? Where does that money go? What impact do you feel like it has?
Well, what it has is that it helps me to grow, and it helps me to ultimately meet my own personal goal, which would be to have someone employed by me so that I can actually grow and bring my message out and my teachings out to more individuals and more companies faster. So that would be a great investment for me. The other thing too is what you had mentioned with that other individual. The government also, I am an actual government woman-owned small business. And so there are contractors, government contractors, or federal contractors that need to have women-owned businesses. So I would fulfill that need as well to help that out. So does that answer?
Yeah, it does. So that lets us know exactly where the dollar goes and how it helps your business to support you as opposed to supporting a bigger business. So that's awesome. Yeah. So Tracey, how do my viewers get in touch with you? How do they find out who you are and how to talk to you and how to hire you?
Sure. So you can contact me directly through my email, which is Tracey, Tracey, at Pirozzi, Pirozzi, org, develop, develop, solutions with an S, solutions.com. And I'm also at www.pirozziorgdevelopsolutions.com as well.
I love it. I love it. Well, Tracey, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on Sip of Tea. We are going to put Tracey's info in the top or in the bottom, depending on where you're viewing this today, because we're uploading it to YouTube and to Instagram. It has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Do you have any final thoughts for us?
I just want to say thank you, everyone, for supporting small businesses. And even if you do not have a particular need at this time, if you share videos or share posts or like them that small businesses post, that really goes a long way, and we really, really appreciate it. The more people that get to know other people and small businesses out there, the more potential that we have to make a living and to have the business succeed. So thank you again, Tiffany, for having this forum for us to share.
And thank you, people out there, for subscribing to this channel for more tips and tricks from the executive assistant, for sharing this video, sharing all of the videos from this week, all of the amazing business owners. Just because you don't have a need doesn't mean someone you know doesn't. Thank you so much for your kindness, for your love, for your attention. We have thoroughly enjoyed this. This has been Sip of Tea. Everybody have a great day. Bye.
Bye.